iOS 14 reinvented custom icons for apps the same way the iPhone 12 reinvented the iPhone. That is to say, the same way 90% of you have yet to reinvent the subscribe button. Yes, you could technically change icons since like 2013 on other systems, but with iOS 14, Apple actually managed to make it with their signature minimalist approach, where you have to download an extra app which opens every single time you use a custom icon. In this episode, I'm going to take my shot at redesigning some more of these apps, take a quick look at last video's comments, and I know a way to bypass the Shortcuts app, so you better stick around. For starters, I'm going to pick another system app just to get warmed up. There's a lot of options to choose from, but I think the Photos app would look cool. The color things in the center kind of look like glass, and that would be pretty easy to make in 3D. As always, I start by downloading a reference image, pulling it into Blender, and bringing in the background model I made in the last episode. It's actually even lazier than that. I don't even make a new file, I just use the original one and then save it as something else. After changing the material of the background to a white color, it's time to get started on the glass pieces. For this part of the model, I used a cube with a loop cut down the middle, so it's easy to bevel the corners and make that rounded shape. It's always important to use as little geometry as necessary, so I used Edge Dissolve to remove the loop in the center once I was done. Obviously, I didn't want to have to make this over and over again, so I used the Spin Duplicates tool to create all of them at once. This tool spins and duplicates objects around the 3D cursor, so in this case, I had to snap it to the center of the world with Shift S. Next, I had to offset them from each other because it looked really weird for them to overlap like this. You can select individual connected pieces of mesh with L, so I used that, and then offset them in groups of 2, otherwise it can give some really dumb looking results. It would obviously be inconvenient to make a new glass material for each color, so I just made one which I assigned to all of the objects. The way it works is by assigning each glass object an identification number, and then using that number to place that object's color along this color ramp gradient with which I sampled the colors on this reference image. That way we only need one material and it's easy to edit the individual colors all in one spot. From this point onward, it was a process of testing different light situations and setups, as lighting glass in an isolated situation like this is not always as easy as regular matte surfaces. I clearly kept trying lazy workarounds like HDRIs and studio light setups, but in the end, it turned out to just be better for everyone to just put a big light in front of it. I also experimented with adding some slight roughness texture to the background object, although I was unsure of how this would look at a smaller scale. You can make any surface have a bumpy look by plugging in the texture to a bump node and plugging that into a normal input. It looks pretty good in the render, I think, but in the context of an app icon, those details can become kind of muddled and gross. For a final touch, I ended up beveling the boundary edges of the glass pieces, which gave them a really cool look and way more realistic than the flat 90-degree edges. Finally, I made sure the color transform was on standard and the contrast was high, as this tends to make icons stand out more. This time, I even ended up flattening the background itself to reduce the shadows around the edge. There's definitely a reason icons went 2D, but when used tastefully, 3D looks really cool. So here's my Photos icon in shortcut form. I think it fits in well because it's not too Windows 98, but you can also tell that this is a physical glass material, which is pretty cool and makes a big difference. While testing this icon, I was reminded of how inconvenient it is to have the Shortcuts app open every single time you use a custom icon. For a lot of people, this pretty much ruins the entire concept of custom icons and makes the whole process not really worth it. Thankfully, just as I was losing hope, one of you guys swooped in, handled the situation with a comment. I honestly don't know how you guys figure this stuff out, but you did, and there is in fact a way to bypass shortcuts. Before I tell you though, you're going to need a pen and paper because this has a lot of steps. First, go to Settings, Shortcuts, Allow Untrusted Shortcuts, go to this website, scan this QR code, click Get Shortcut, wait till it downloads, click the shortcut, choose your app. You can either do this with the App Store or for system apps like Photos or Settings. Choose your custom icon file either from Files or Camera Roll. This doesn't need to be a special format or anything. Give the shortcut a label which shows underneath so you could have like a homework folder for your phone, but it's actually just a link to the Bible. Click Done, click Allow, click Close, click here, click Install, put in your passcode, install, done, and now it's on your home page. Yeah, that wasn't worth it at all. Look, Apple, if someone figured out how to do this, okay? With your own app, couldn't you just let people change their icons? I mean, iOS 27 is going to be like, you can now change your icons. And everyone's going to be like, yes. Alright, whatever, dude. Time for the next icon. There's so many to choose from, but for this one, I'm going to do Spotify. A lot of people seem to want this one, and I might as well. You see, Spotify reinvented music listening the same way Apple Music reinvented Spotify. Wait, no. You all know the drill at this point. Start with a background mesh, grab a reference image. I'll probably start with like a cylinder for the circle part. Might mess around and bevel it, I don't know. Make it green, nothing complex so far. Next is the audio wave things, and I think I'm going to take a bit of a unique approach to these. There's a modifier called the curve modifier, which allows you to deform objects around a separate curve object, which makes them a lot easier to adjust, since you just have to work with these two Bezier handles. I created a sphere, elongated it, throw in a little geometry, and with a curve modifier, the sky's the limit as to what kind of elongated shapes we can make. Then I just duplicate it and position the copies based on the reference image. Now all we gotta do is add some personal touch to it. It could be anything really. I've seen Rainbow Spotify, I've seen Anime Spotify, Drake Spotify, Galaxy Spotify, Apple Spotify. I think I'm just gonna make whatever comes to mind, you know, something I can really identify with and relate to. Oh, that actually makes me sad. Actually, I'm just gonna make the background gold, give it some of that metal pan aesthetic, you know what I'm saying? It's actually called anisotropy, and you have to use a tangent node to be plugged into the...
Hey, Daniel, hey.
Wait, do you hear that?
Daniel.
Is that just me?
We're gonna need you to read the comments.
Read the comments, bro.
We're gonna need you.
Whatever gets top comment on this video, I will be redesigning on Friday. I don't care what it is. I'm immensely worried about this. Please don't get me in trouble. 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 4,400 likes. That's like a whole percentage of Wyoming. Imagine being good, trying not to get into drama, and everyone's like, you know the rules. Wait a minute. Oh, this says corn. Oh, corn on the cob, baby. That's how we like it. You know what I'm saying? This is a funny logo. Look at this. I might as well put a big old corn right in the middle. Ooh, that's what I call a good logo. Something Kanye West would be proud to put on his merchandise. Stop right there. I want to pay some of you for being active and making it to the end of this video. I'm starting a second channel for tutorials and premiering the first video on this date. I'm giving away this many prizes to random people who attend the premiere. I'm reserving half of them for people who use this code, aka you, for watching this video. So go subscribe right now to make sure you don't miss that, and for what it's worth, subscribe anyways. It's basically going to be double the content, and it would mean the world to me. Go and have yourself an excellent week. Take it easy, everybody.